let's look at the schedule, and I'll throw it up here on the old Two Bear podcast listeners. Just listen along. I ain't the first 2 weeks, blah blah blah, whatever. They're playing Marshall, they're playing Austin Peay. Jacksonville State plays Austin Peay for homecoming. Okay, when I was at Jacksonville. Okay, so all right, so Georgia's going to be 2-0. Then they're going to travel to Knoxville.
I think they'll be fine.
I think they look good. It says it's going to be a 2:00 game. I like that. Georgia will take off week 4, which is kind of weird, but we know why, because they're going to be welcoming the DeBoer Tide is going to come rumbling into town September 27th, early in the year, week 5. Georgia should be 3-0, 6:30 ABC. Dean, tell us about the Tide and the Dawgs matchup on 27th.
I think that could go either way. I do think it's an advantage for Georgia playing at home.
Sure.
But and with the off week, but I think it's too early to call. Don't you, Burge?
Let's see if Bama. Oh, guess what? Bama's off the week before Georgia. Well,
yeah.
What about that?
So they're not getting an advantage there.
No advantage there. Yeah.
Well, that'll probably be the SEC championship game. I'm just telling you. I'm just saying right now. Write it down on here on June whatever 29th. Alabama Georgia's probably playing for. I know Texas is high. I'm not, and we'll talk about them later. I'm not. So go ahead.
About Alabama or just the rest?
Yeah, of Georgia. I mean,
well, I think they beat Kentucky.
Sure.
I think they're going to beat Auburn. I think they beat Ole Miss. So at worst, through their first 7 games, I think Georgia's 6-1 at worst. Where they lost maybe to Alabama.
7-1 by their first off week. I mean, I can go along with that easy.
I think Florida or Alabama. I'm not going to say both, Benton, but I think Florida or Alabama beats Georgia, and I think Texas beats Georgia.
All right, before we hit the second off week here on the 25th of October, let me rewind back up a little bit. Burge, you spill your take here. Is there a chance that Bama, plays spoiler, and they have done it at Stanford a lot?
No,
is there a chance? Is there a chance that they could be? I think there's a chance.
Yeah, yeah. Absolutely. I would actually, if I had to pick right now, I'd pick Bama to win it.
Okay. Well, so go ahead.
You know more about what Bama has, what they're going to put on the field than you do about what Georgia is. Right. Now, one thing that we don't know, which could be good and bad, but one thing that we don't know about Georgia is, will the offense be improved? How does the offensive line do? What is the skill guys at receiver that we brought in?
Who are their receivers, Benton?
Yeah.
All right, so we'll go down my list here. You got Colby Young, which is a big 6'5" guy from Miami that's back. Dylan Bell will be there. Zachariah Branch is the transfer from USC. You got Noah Thomas, which is the 6'4", 6'5" guy from Texas A&M, the big guy that they like to throw it up to. You got London Humphreys back. Scovey White will be another one of the receivers. And then you have some young guys that could help out. C.J. Wiley, which is a 4 or 5-star recruit. Taylon Taylor, which is Gatorade Player of the Year in his state. I think you're going to see a lot from Colby Young, Dylan Bell. He'll probably move back to the slot where he's more natural. I think he was much better in the slot than he is on the outside. Zachariah Branch, I don't know if you remember when he transferred, but him and his brother both transferred.
Yeah. Come from USC.
Branch
he's great.
Good. Yes, he's
very good. He's a top.
He's also a punt returner as well, so that could be big to have him returning punts. Are y'all familiar with Noah Thomas?
Yes.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
Most of them are Bell, Young, and Branch, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be your starting out 3. But I mean, Kirby's gonna roll those guys like everybody does. You just can't play with 3. But I feel like matched up versus last year's receiving core, it's not even close. It's going to be much better.
I agree. And 2 and 3, I don't think last year's Georgia-Alabama game will be like this year's. Kirby didn't know. He had no clue what to expect with DeBoer. I know he can watch film, and DeBoer can catch some people by surprise a little bit. because you're not sure his style. But he'd seen him in enough games, and Kirby is completely smart enough to figure it out. I think in that game, I think they come in with a plan, and it got flipped over. And Bobo just, I'm not a fan. I'm not going to start on that road again. But
I think you.
I don't
can
think
see
it's going to be this. It's not going to be like that this year.
No,
I think we're going to have a better game.
Yeah, I think it'll be.
I think it's going. We'll come into after halftime. It'll probably be a touchdown game, and it's probably going to be who has the ball last. I like Bama's defense better. That's why I would probably shade to pick Bama in that game. I like their DBs. They got all those guys back, and I'm worried. Man, Georgia, they're running the ball, and then they lose all their offensive line. I'm worried about that. That worries me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I'm not as worried as much about the offensive line, just because I know the reps that those guys have got.
Okay.
I think that, and I like Georgia's secondary to an extent. Now, I'll tell you this: the depth is not.
It's not there, but the guys they have are good. They're good. What's his name? I just Everett and Bolden. Golly, man, those are two. They're top in the nation. Those guys are great.
Mm-hmm.
They've been playing a lot of football.
I'll tell you one that doesn't get a lot of. He's young, doesn't get a lot of front, but you're going to see his name. But Ellis Robinson is going to be I think he's capable of being an All-American type player. Ellis Robinson, check him out.
Ellis Robinson, all right.
Ellis Robinson, Daniel Harris will be another good player.
We all kind of feel like if Georgia just loses, now here, let's play bad scenario.
All right.
And I'm just saying this, and you're already thinking, you probably know what I'm fixing to say. It's just a bad place to play. And for some stupid reason, they'll catch lightning in the bottle. We've seen the ball literally fall out of the sky into their hands and beat Georgia at Jordan-Hare Stadium. It's something weird. They're going to play at night. Maybe Georgia's coming off a big win over Bama. Then they do come home to play a middle school Kentucky team, and they're probably just it's going to be a noon game, and they're going to be off the rest of the day. They may overlook Auburn because of last year, and at this time of the year, Auburn is going to have played really nobody. So Auburn, this is really probably their second big game. They're going to have Oklahoma and then A&M, then be off before Georgia. Mm-hmm. So I'm just thinking, what if they overlook them? What if Bama beats them, and then they overlook Auburn to go to Auburn and get beat, and then they come here to Ole Miss, win, and they get an off week? Well, then they got the cocktail party, Mississippi State. Then they got Texas the 15th.
Yeah, now that's going to be tough. Where is that game?
I said Georgia.
Well, the only reason I don't, and why I said I think Texas beats them, Benton, is because Texas was the number 3 team in the country last year and got beat by Georgia twice.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure that happens a third straight time.
Well, I'll tell you this, though, Dean. When you look at what was lost on the two teams, it's about even.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Georgia and Texas. And, you insert Manning, which want to be a great player, I think. But,
is he better than yours? Not to me.
If he was that great, why would he play him?
I'm just not a fan, man. I'm just saying, I'm not a Texas. I got Texas hat. I'm just saying what I think. That don't mean I'm right. I'm just not sold. They're about like Notre Dame to me. I've heard a lot of talk. Texas played about the 90th ranked schedule last year, strength of schedule, and they played poo-poo.
Well, Georgia's defense wasn't world beaters last year, and it was one Mississippi sack. I mean, they were after Ewers. And, I know that he was banged up and couldn't move around as good, but that was just something they, exploited. I think that, that Manning moves well with his feet, and they'll have to use that. He'll have to extend plays. But we'll see how the young guy can do when he gets his bell rung a few times.
Let's hit the schedule back here, and we'll roll out here and get to Tennessee and Vandy. I wins. I think Georgia's a lock for. They've got to be a lock for 9.
I got them at 9.5.
That's what I wrote down.
No more than 10. I don't think they go 11-1 with that schedule. I think they lose to either Alabama or Florida, one of the two, not both, and maybe Texas or a rivalry game, Tech. That's a good one. I'm sorry, it is. It's gotten kind of. You know what happened last year, and I think Tech will be better. So I got them at 9.5, which means obviously they'll go 9-3 or 10-2.
Yeah,
and could make that playoff for sure.
Yeah, I think 10-2 probably makes the playoff, depending on who you lose to. I'm
Yeah.
not sure if 9-3 is good enough.
no, I don't.
I
think it
don't
is.
know that they'll go 9-3. I'm thinking 10-2, but we always do a half. So.
9-3. I think that's worth. If Georgia loses 3, I think that's probably the bad. They had a. And that's a bad word to say. That's not a bad year, guys. We got to shut up saying that. 9-3, that's a good year.
9-3 with that schedule,
So what? They lost to, and historically, so what? Georgia lost to Bama and Texas and Auburn or Ole Miss. Okay, maybe they lose one of those games that they shouldn't lose. Like they should not lose to Ole Miss or Auburn. There's just no way.
But you got Auburn, Bama, Texas, Georgia Tech, and Florida.
Man.
If you go 3-2 in them, I mean, you can't be real disappointed.
We did Florida. We did Florida early, guys, and
they're going to be good.
I'm telling you, I think Florida's going to be. That's going to be a good cocktail party. And is it not the last Birds? This is the last they're going to play there.
And for a little bit, Everbank is going to get redone.
They're going to do back and forth, ain't they?
Well, for at least 2 years, and then they'll decide on that after that.
Okay. I like the cocktail party's fun, but I'm here. You know why they brought that up? You know why they did that, Dean? They're going to take it away from there because of recruiting. Because if you're deemed, they flip a coin or whatever, back and forth, or if you're the home or guest, if you're the guest team, you can't have recruits at the game.
Oh, yeah, I know.
We're not even at my place. We're at a neutral site. Why does that matter? Why does it matter? NCAA, that's why in 2030, the NCAA will be running college basketball, folks. You heard it here first. I'm telling you, that's what's going to be. 2030, they're not going to have anything to do with football. They're going to have their own league.
Is anybody going to be upset
Bama,
over
Georgia,
that?
Oregon, Ohio States, they're going to have their own league. So I think Georgia's a lock for 9.5. I think FanDuel had them for 9.5. I can go along with that. They may lose one of those games. Now, they are going to have some new structure. We talked about they do have some vets in the D-back field. I do worry about that a little bit, but we hadn't seen them run the freaking ball, man. They got to get between tackles and start running the ball, man. And I love Frazier.
Yeah, Frazier's good.
I think if you get some room to Frazier and McCoy, I think they're capable of running the ball.
Yes, they are. It's something that they've got to do. It's just a staple of what they are and what Georgia is known to be doing. The Cocktail Bowl will be home for the next 2 years in stadium construction. And okay, so that's